Now I'm at the point you wanna be with me. I'm vibing out at a higher frequency, cause everything that I want and I'm gonna be, it's when I wake up, that's when I start to dream. Someone you love is talking down, here is the plan. Let it fall through like a handful of sand. Nothing happens overnight, what you must understand. If you dwell on the bad, then you don't stand a chance. Something you want upset, saying why it ain't mine yet. That's because now you have yet to change your mindset. People don't put their mind to rest while they're so wired. A lot of people go to sleep and wake up tired. Power of positivity and persistence. Say that I can, we'll just sit back and witness. Make an impact when our time is done. Make money, help people, and have lots of fun.
Hey, you got the dress memo.
That's right. I knew you were going to be wearing a cap this morning, so I just wanted to. It's all three of us.
Hey, all three of us. We all got caps on today.
Excellent.
Where's Blaine?
I'm right here.
He's
Where are you
right
at?
there.
I'm right here, David.
I don't see him. There he is. All righty. Did we play the music, Gigi?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, she's on top
we're good.
of it. Welcome, everybody, to Office Hours episode 904 or more. We keep rocking and rolling early in the morning, late at night. It doesn't matter. We are the three middle-aged white men who wear hats in the morning. What does your hat say, Rat Power?
Kiawah Island.
Kiawah Island. Nice. It must be nice to be rich. Blaine, how about you? What do we got going on?
Yeah, chill. Yeah, what does it say here?
Exuma?
Something. Can you read that? Chat and chill.
That's from Exuma.
Yeah, chat and chill. It's out
That's
of
from
Exuma in the Bahamas. I sat out in the middle of the Caribbean having a.
Damn, I should
nice
change hats. I have that hat.
Yeah,
I have that hat in blue. And mine is made from mistakes. Made from mistakes. Our new brand. So, all right, let's get started with Office Hours real quickly. We'll be in San Diego today, meeting up at 1 p.m. at Paradise Point there in Mission Bay. We'll be in Las Vegas for Summer League. We'll be in Philly for the All-Star Game, New York City for Fanatics Fest and the EO event, SoFi Stadium. We'll be at Miami FC with Messi. We'll be in London for a private member networking and investment group out in the UK with Tropos. And then in Breckenridge, Colorado, for a Ryder Cup of wine. Each includes a VIP dinner for charity, meetups holding courts, interviews, masterminds, and speeches. If you want to stay informed in the 200 cities that we are in, it is area code, if you didn't hear the jingle, 949-298-2905. And if you like the exercises, guides, books, or replays from today, it's simply David means beloved. At D is my first initial. Meltzer means servant. David at dmeltzer.com. All righty. Enough of wasting time. It's time for the kingdom. We got the castle. Tim Castle's in the house. Author, entrepreneur, and speaker. What a unique guest to have here. We've never had an entrepreneur, an author, or a speaker on this show. But his new book, which came out a few days ago, Magnetic Influence, How to Negotiate and Persuade in a Disrupted World. Tim Castle, come join us here on episode 904 or more of Office Hours.
Oh, lovely. Pleasure to be here. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you having me on. I feel like I need
to have you on.
Beautiful. Grab a hat.
Grab a hat.
I was looking. Where's my hat?
No, if I had that hair, I wouldn't be wearing a hat. So, it's obvious why we are wearing hats this morning. Look, this idea of magnetic influence, understanding frequency, vibration, the laws of attraction. How do we use the charismatic karma, the interrelation of energy to influence and negotiate and persuade people? I think it's obvious it's a disruptive world. So we'll start with the magnetic side. What are we utilizing to be these magnets that you suggest we are?
Oh, 100%. And I came up with the magnetic influence framework because I believe we've got a new professional archetype on our hands, right? It's the person that can deal with AI fluency, i.e. they understand the AI landscape and LLMs, And at the same time, they understand human connection and just how important it is to master these skills. So magnetic, it actually stands for meaningful impact. That's the position that you have when you're negotiating. You are here to create meaningful impact. Authenticity, right? You're not going to suddenly show up and not be yourself. You're going to be yourself, whether you're dealing with someone on $1 billion deal or someone on a $10 deal. Then it goes into the 3 Gs, which is gravitas, generosity, and gratitude. Then networking superconnector. And to your point, the E stands for energetic vibration. And so that's something that I think as a negotiator got underrepresented so much. I was in Spain a couple of weeks ago, and we were teaching all about energy and how you use energy to negotiate. When you are presenting a deal, it's not just about presenting the facts of the deal. Like, this person has to believe that you are the guide in the room, and that person in front of you, they have a problem and you're there to solve it, and that you've been in this situation before. But if you're not on the same wavelength, if you're not vibing in that way from an energetic vibrational perspective, your negotiation is not going to move forward in the way that you think, or even in the way you hope. Not that you should be hoping, but the structure of your strategy and how you're presenting that negotiation, it all comes down to energetic vibration. And so E is a very important point of the magnetic influence framework.
Tim, I love this. And we were talking in the green room before we went live here. David White, a poet, actually lives here on my island, here in the Northwest. He has a phrase that he uses in one of his poems: when you lose your vision, the world can't find you. And that idea of being able to, sit in a negotiation with an idea that is so connected to the spirit of something, it wants to be expressed, it wants to be fully realized. There's an energy around it. Virginia Satir at one point in time said that communication is simply the ways, plural, the ways we work out common meaning with one another. And that has to be, I would assume, the crux of an effective negotiation platform. First of all, what's the idea? The source of, the kernel of that idea. And then how do we work out common meaning around it? Because in your chair, you've got an idea of what that means. In their chair, all bets are off until you can land on a common territory. So,
100%.
So how do you go about facilitating, particularly, I'm thinking here, disruption. You got people running to the wood piles. It's kind of like they want to protect their turf. They want to protect themselves. How do you begin the first step to have people kind of peek out a little bit and say, well, maybe it's safe enough to come out here and actually do something?
I think from my perspective, I want to make the world a better place for negotiators. Like a better negotiator is a better world, right? Effectively. So it all goes back to mindset. What is negotiation? Well, it's to expand the size of the pie and create value. And so if we have that basic understanding of what we're doing with negotiation, we can start to then think about how we want to show up in that negotiation and influence during the situation. So most people think negotiation is a battle. They've watched too many Wolf of Wall Street movies or Wall Street, and they go in with a completely wrong mindset with anger and ultimatums and threats. But when we flip that and we start to think about, well, okay, the world's got more automated. We've become, like you say, there's a lot of disruptions, a lot of change, there's a lot of fear. What's the antidote to that? It's human connection. But I really believe it's trust. Like, trust building is a skill set. So the ability to be able to create trust with humanity, transparency, capability, and reliability. Like, that's the 4 kind of elements of trust building. Now, if you can do that in the negotiation room, because right now, what I see is people deviating to ChatGPT and trying to negotiate and have AI. AI is in the room. But the problem is, what about when you're in the room and the tension is rising? Have you got those skills, that trust building, to be able to bring the emotional temperature of the room down and create that through transparency? Maybe you have to go first and give and show that you are going to be transparent as a kind of a law of reciprocity. But at the same time, you're leading the way. So back to the first point, as the guide in the negotiation, you are the expert negotiator. So you're going to take control and facilitate that in a way that's demonstrating how you want to be treated with the other side. So that reciprocity comes through. And your goal here is to create trust, because then when you get alignment, you can expand the size of the pie and create that value together.
Well, Tim, this is a great conversation. And how do you build, if you're at a starting point in a negotiation, how do you build that trust? What does that look like?
I think from my side of things, because I used to be a negotiator for over a decade, and the best way was to go in and come from a position of, I'm just going to be curious about the other person, right? I'm here because if I can that's why networking super connector is the N of magnetic, because if I'm here to just literally, how can I help you? I'm not here to take, I'm not here to extract value. I'm here to create and give. As a networking super connector, my goal then becomes, well, okay, I want to understand more about you, who you are, what you've got going on, what is valuable to you, because that might be an introduction. It might be some business that we can do together, but it doesn't have to be. And so for me, when I'm not attached to the outcome happening, like I'm not overly attached, I'm not overly justifying, I'm not overly speaking. So being detached from the outcome happening allows the space for it to then start to happen. So in an instant, I'm asking curious questions that allow the other side to start to speak and to kind of unpack. And then, as I said, I might be giving some information away on purpose to show them that this is a safe space, like that we're here to collaborate. And then from that point on, I'm using minimal encouragers to help them along the way. And it's the silence. It's not responding when they have posed a question, but maybe asking another question back that goes deeper. And so then the negotiation starts to become more of a collaboration, and what can we build together?
He is the king of the castle when it comes to negotiation, the Chris Voss of Britain. Tim Castle himself, author, entrepreneur, speaker. Magnetic Influence is available everywhere as of 3 days ago. How to negotiate and persuade in a disruptive world. Check out his podcast as well, at Tim Castle on YouTube, the Tim Castle Show podcast. Would love to do some swapping with you. I know Blaine would love to have you on his podcast, and we have other shows as well, and love to be a guest on the Tim Castle Show podcast. Tim Castle, timjscastle.com. Check it out. Get the book. Learn how to create value and to receive value in the infinite loop of giving. Tim Castle, thanks for joining us on episode 904 or more of Office Hours.
Thanks so much, guys.
Have a good holiday. Celebrate America this weekend. There you go.
Let's do it.
We need it. Celebrate everything celebratable, even the Orange Man. All right. Oh my goodness. I did not realize who our second guest is. Can you believe there's an entrepreneur that started a barbecue, a small, tiny barbecue in Spring Valley, San Diego, and now has the largest media company for hospitality, Be the Show Media. Sean Walchef, the creator, founder, the extraordinaire, says out of Los Angeles, California, but that's bullshit. This guy is out of San Diego. He's born and bred. He might be a Chargers fan. They're in LA, but my boy is in San Diego. He's a Padres and a Chargers fan. And also he's part of the Dave Meltzer family. Let's give a big toast on episode 904 of Office Hours to the incredible Sean Walchef. Welcome, my brother.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm joining you from the other side of the world. I know you're in San Diego and you got a meetup today, but I'm in Bulgaria, where my wife's family's from. We spend about a month out here with my in-laws and my children. They're both learning Bulgarian. They both are more fluent than I am, but yeah, honored to be joining Blaine, Rhett, and David, the Supreme Court of storytellers. I'm honored.
Or middle-aged white men in hats, and shout out to Cody for that hats they give. Hey, Sean, obviously we have developed Be the Show .media. We've developed the idea of Be the Show together, right? Not the commercial. Yep. Be the Show. But one of the things, as you're in Bulgaria, and Rhett and Blaine, who have better things to do at 5 a.m. As well, there's a next level lesson in my coaching and teaching, and it's be the show up. Because you can be the show, but if you don't show up every day, if you're overselling, back end selling, lying, and manipulating to people, it's not going to work. And, I know a ton of extra milers, guys who make promises and don't deliver, people who don't show up. And then they use that to justify why they're not where they're at. In fact, they use that to blame other people. Blame other people because they don't deliver what they promise, or they don't show up with what they promise. One of the gifts that you and I share is we show up. That's why on a holiday weekend, I'm doing a meetup in San Diego.
100%.
Right? I could easily be at SeaWorld, the zoo, or hanging out on the beach in front of my beach house. But instead, I'm showing up for my community. Give me an idea, because I'll let the other guys talk about stage theory or other things. How important through this, how many years have we been working together?
We've been working since 2019. So
7 years. So 7 years. But how important has it been to show up?
Consistency will win every single time. And that is the hardest thing to prove in this world is consistency, because you can't see it. You literally cannot see consistency. It compounds over time. And when you do show up, which I've been doing with you, starting a restaurant business, which I've been doing for 18 years. When you and I met, I told you I started a media company. We were 2 years into running the media company, no revenue. So we were podcasting, we were creating content. We believed in restaurants. We believed in
free food,
technology, giving away free food just to do content together up at Sports One Marketing. Just because I had a deep belief. I had a deep belief that there were other entrepreneurs and business owners, restaurant owners all over the globe. The total addressable market is global now because of the internet. And I knew that I wasn't alone as a restaurant owner. And if I went and I kept asking questions, smart questions, selfishly, I would learn, but to the benefit, my community would learn and they would grow. And I think that's the problem in the beginning, is that we want the ROI right away. When we start doing a podcast, when we start making a video, we want to see the 100,000 views and we want to see the business ROI. This led to this many deals. And as you know, and Blaine knows, and Rhett knows, that's not how it works. And nor should it work like that. Right. What does work is showing up day over day, hour over hour, and consistently building in the dark before the sunrise. As you guys are both on a call before the sunrise, knowing that this internet that we have at our fingertips as business owners and entrepreneurs connects us to humans that have the same energy, the same frequency, that believe in the same things that we do. Now, it doesn't mean that everyone's going to believe in what we believe in, but what it does allow us to do is it allows the algorithms, the AI of the world, to connect us to community. And I've been connected. I'm literally in Bulgaria. I went to London and Dublin with Toast, who is the primary sponsor of our show. I signed a 3-year deal with one of the top technology professional companies in the world, publicly traded company that I believe deeply in. I got to meet with some of the best restaurateurs and hospitality storytellers on earth in London, in Dublin, because I believe deeply and because I did the work when no one else cared. 5 years of running a media company and investing my money, my time, investing in you, joining communities, saying that I believe in this. I know this is bigger than my restaurant, Spring Valley. I did that work knowing that it was going to be hard. No one was going to listen, but eventually I found a community. And now we have an amazing community that we've built. And you connect me on the daily basis to people that believe in restaurants, that believe in hospitality, that believe in technology. We've got an amazing thing going, and it's just getting started. The compounding just begins to start. We just signed a deal with Pepsi. Like, it's amazing to have Pepsi and Toast as title sponsors of our Restaurant Influencers show on Entrepreneur. I've got to interview some of the most incredible people. I don't even believe the people that I'm getting on my shows, but not only do I get them on my shows, some of them have become friends, close friends, and we've done business together, significant business together, because I was willing to show up in the dark. I was willing to look stupid and sound stupid, make mistakes, do the reps, and consistently show up.
Maybe that's why you're successful, because you still look stupid.
Thank you.
Flattery will get you everywhere,
but you're not. You're obviously not. You're obviously not. So Rhett has that going for him as well.
Yeah.
Blaine, what do you got for my best friend?
You know, I'm just, the idea of storytelling. Yeah, that human beings connect through story, and I'm really enthralled with what you've been able to accomplish with this, Sean, in the sense of seeing yourself as a businessman. I'm a restaurateur, but moving that definition of what it means to be an entrepreneur as a restaurateur into a storyteller, because the brand itself isn't going to carry the ball. It's the story that carries the ball. And if you had one piece of advice outside of resilience and consistency, if you had one piece of advice to not a restaurateur necessarily, but an entrepreneur who's building a company, what would be the thing that you would point them to relative to crafting a narrative, a story that becomes compelling enough that everybody is going, huh? Tell me more about that.
I would tell them that the greatest lie ever been told to business owners and entrepreneurs is the Field of Dreams, the American Baseball Classic. If you build it, they will come. Every entrepreneur, business owner gets into this lure that if we build a product, if we build a service, it'll be so good that other people will tell other people about it. And I know the harsh reality is that no one's coming.
Yeah.
No one's coming to tell your story. We have all of the tools that we need at our fingertips, but the problem is ego. And we let the ego get in our way, and we think that we shouldn't be on TikTok, we shouldn't be on LinkedIn, and we shouldn't be live streaming because there's only a couple people watching. We let all of these things that don't matter interfere with getting better at sharing who we are and what our truth is. And the real irony is that we have all these storytelling tools, we have all this technology at our hands, but entrepreneurs have been the best. They've already done that. They've already done the hard work of convincing another human that their idea is a good idea. They've gotten an investor. They've gotten their loved ones to buy into it. They've gotten people to sell them things. But when it comes to sharing that truth, in modern media and modern storytelling, they let a lot of things get in the way. And I think that's why I've always connected with David and his community, is that we don't care. We don't discriminate. We believe in audio, video, words, images. We're going to use all the tools at our fingertips to connect with people that believe in the same mission that we believe in.
Sean, I love this message. About 15 years ago, I said, look, I was talking to Marshall Goldsmith, who's a mentor of mine, and I said, well, Marshall, I'm doing good work. I got good content. People just find it. And he was like, get over yourself, just get over yourself. Like, you got to go out and tell your story. Right. Like, and this is so true. But I want to switch gears a little bit with you and ask you, what is the end goal here? Like, what is the dream?
I'm living.
What are you doing? What are you doing all this for? Yeah.
I'm honestly living the dream. So next week on Tuesday, I'm going back to my grandfather's village, Pordom, Bulgaria. So back when I was a 22-year-old man, my grandfather at the end of his life asked me to help him write his life story. This was before pre-internet. This was before Facebook and all of the tools that we now have to write your own book. And I helped him publish this book, The Harvest. And this is how a Bulgarian farm boy grew wealthy in La Jolla, California. So my Bulgarian grandfather, he raised me as a son. I never met my father. I got the book translated into Bulgarian. Next week, I'm going to take both books to the Pordom Library to make sure that a boy in the village will have the access to my grandfather's story and hopefully inspire another generation to continue to do what we do. And that's something that I get to live that dream out every single day. I mean, the work that I've been doing now with David, over since 2019, I could only dream that I would be able to go to London with my family and my media team to film at some of the greatest restaurants on earth, go to Dublin, sitting on top of one of the most beautiful restaurants I've ever seen in my life. The restaurant is called Dion, and Dion in Celtic means roof. It's the roof. Right. It's overlooking the entire Dublin, literally brand new $28 million restaurant that they built. And I'm sitting there talking to the founder, this legendary Irish hospitality professional, and he's telling me the story of the roof. And I told him right there at that moment, I'm living my dream. I started my media company on the roof of my restaurant in Spring Valley. I started making videos, Facebook videos, YouTube videos on the roof of my restaurant. And here I am in Dublin at the nicest restaurant, literally, that has opened up in the last couple of years in Dublin, interviewing one of the most important Irish hospitality professionals there is. And that is the dream. I want to keep doing that.
listening to Shakespeare, knowing the whole world is his stage, including rooftops in Dublin. He should have gone to the Gravedigger, the first oldest bar, the oldest bar in Dublin, and had a Guinness where people are standing outside in the cemetery. One of my favorite places as well.
Do you know how long Arthur Guinness, how long his lease is?
I do not.
He signed a 9,000-year lease.
And it's almost up, right? It's almost
not
up.
almost up.
No,
That was about 150 years ago. He signed a 9,000-year lease.
Nice. Well, I will sign a 9,000 year coaching agreement with one of my all-star clients himself, the incredible guy who had a vision beyond belief, coming from Spring Valley, California, in the rooftop of Spring Valley, California, telling people I'm going to have the biggest hospitality and media company in the world just 9 years ago, an overnight success. The incredible Sean Walchef, enjoy your holiday out in Bulgaria as you are assigning time to not only your personal life, but the activities you get paid for as well. Continue to utilize the capture, modify, amplify, and perpetuate methodology that you have helped to prove is true. Once again, check out Cali Barbecue Media, betheshow.media, at Sean P. Walchef. Follow him. He's amazing. Thank you, brother, and good luck with the grandfather's book.
Great to see you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Peace.
Thanks, Red.
Thanks, Sean.
Love you. I love your family, brother.
Appreciate it. You too, Dave.
You got it. Happy 4th. Waiting in the wings patiently out of New Jersey, co-founder and CEO at Pelgo. And it's, although there's 2 different spelling there, I'm going with pelgo.com. Our friend Che Huang, our new VC funded startup, Pelgo. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Hey guys, it was great to hear that segment when Sean was saying, living the dream and it's about the journey, kind of putting words in his mouth. But I was like, I don't know if you saw me, but I was nodding my head. I was like, it's my 3rd company, and it's like the only explanation of why you would ever be an entrepreneur a 3rd time around.
Well, we certainly are glad, and we do see you shaking your head. I'm glad you're not wearing a hat as well.
I thought I joined, and I was like I missed the dress code, so I could
it's just effing early, man. And when you got hair like this, you just throw one of these on. There's no doubt why. Che, AI is misinterpreted, misunderstood. I believe AI is here. I've been involved in technology since 92. So Web 1, Web 2, Web 2.5, Web 3. The same fears, the same exact same statements were being made in 1992 by influential people. I remember Justice Scalia telling me personally, nobody would ever do research on a computer. You needed books. That's a significant statement when one of our greatest scholars, legal scholars, and I know you're at least a recovering lawyer yourself like me, that's pretty significant about human nature and technology. And when I think about what you're doing is you're utilizing human nature for the betterment of humans and the betterment of technology to find new opportunities, options, and touches of favor with it, which is what I've done now for over 34 years since 1992, and create great abundance by that. I think one of the biggest fears is killing jobs. Yeah. Give me your philosophy about, AI, particularly as a technology that, most people are afraid are killing jobs, why you believe it's actually has a greater purpose.
I think it has a greater purpose, a misunderstood purpose, and I think a misunderstood future. Not because of hubris or because I think I'm smarter than anyone out there.
Even though you might be.
No, but it goes back to what you're saying, Dave. Like, I don't think Scalia, no one can say he's not very smart.
Right.
It's just oftentimes when we judge technologies, we judge the state of the art and not the velocity of the art, the velocity of the improvement of the art. So take, for example, you overlay where we are on this curve, this curve of AI adoption. We're in the equivalent of what? The year 99, 2000 with the internet?
Yeah,
so
pre-chasm.
If you're a company out there and you're saying, you know what, we have 400 stores in 1999, we're going to close all of them and we're going to pivot hard to e-commerce. That, I don't know if you're going to make it. I think it's a bit early. But at the same time, If you didn't do that, and if you had a kind of magic ball and you saw 25, 26 years ahead, you'd say, well, everything that folks actually were saying actually started to come true and actually came true. And I think the same is going to happen with AI. It's going to take a little longer than we thought, but all these things we're debating now, this thing's going one way. And I can't imagine here being 10 years, 15, 20 years from now that entire workflows aren't fully automated. It's just crazy for me to think that that will not happen.
You know, it's so funny you said that. In 99, I was CEO of the world's first smartphone. It was a Windows device, and they were just early. They were right? They called them convergence devices. It had a Windows CE operating system, and Samsung manufactured it. So it was some of the world's biggest companies involved, and they lost millions and millions of dollars just by being early, not by being wrong. Blaine, I know you also work with Nokia and several others when I was over in the telecom world as well. So you're very familiar with the fears and the interference in a timeline or a risk tolerance timeline that exists within technology and how people misinterpret, as you suggest. I think it's a state of mind and instead of a state of velocity.
Yeah, and to the point, both state of mind and state of velocity. The problem with change isn't the change itself so much as it is.
It's only wet babies like it. That's the problem with change. Only wet babies like change.
Only wet babies. But it's the disruption to existing relationships that the change causes. And the relationships aren't just the interpersonal. It's the relationship that I have with my status quo, as an example. The relationship I have, and this was really true with some of the tech companies with whom I worked. They get attached to an OS. They get attached to, this is the product. And Kodak is a great example of that. Digital cameras, what do we need those for? All of this stuff. I'm interested here, Che. You served as the president of the World Economic Forum's Global Collaboration Village. And the idea of collaboration comes into play very strongly, I think, when we start looking at the introduction of new, whether it's new tech or new ideas or, and it's, how the assimilation process is actually a function of collaboration. What is it that you're seeing that is the greatest impediment to that right now?
I think when it comes to AI and when it comes to someone and tying it a little bit of kind of now my day job of helping folks transition into different jobs and into AI enabled jobs, what you're finding is time. And here's what I mean by that. We recently did a survey of 5,000 unemployed Americans. And it was shocking that, after being unemployed for 6 months, so for those who had been unemployed for 6+ months, only around 6 to 7% had embarked on any type of retraining, any type of reskilling, or any type of pivoting activity. And, it's crazy to me. I would think if I'm out of the job for 6 months and I got to be feeding my family, I'm thinking something's not right. I need to go and do this. But actually, when you dig deeper, why aren't they doing it? It's not that these folks lack agency or motivation to do it because they want to feed their families. What you're finding is that the safety net and actually the severance system and all these things, the machinery that is there to support you after you lose your job is substandard. And so if you get 90 days of severance, day one, you're looking at this lump sum that's about to hit your bank account. You're like, oh, that looks pretty good. I could do something with that. You wake up the next morning, you've got 89 days left before you have zero income. And the last thing on your mind is, let me retrain on this AI thing. And so I think that is a major impediment to where adoption lies with AI for those that are exiting the workforce because of being displaced by AI.
Great.
Or 6 or 7% of them, or 6 or 7% have rich parents, right?
Yeah. Well, that could be the issue as well. But I'll put that in the next survey.
I mean, if I was Rhett's kid, I'd never fucking work. Like I just sit at home playing Minecraft all day. That's all I do.
And he would be kicked out on his ass pretty quick.
Yes, he would. Yeah. I know.
If your last name's Power,
that is very true.
If your last name's Power, you better be kicking my ass. That's for sure. But go ahead, Rhett.
The Marine Corps was a threat, right? this is really, really interesting. What do you think in terms of Pelgo? Who is the what kind of person? And when you did the survey, I mean, what is the ideal client here? And is it a middle-aged white guy like me that's gotten laid off, or is it a 20-something that's sort of searching for that next gig? I mean, who's this really going to help?
Yeah, it's a great question, Red. So I actually think when you think about what we do, so we do three things today. So one, we help HR, and actually to clarify, our clients are actually corporates. So meaning that when people leave their jobs or when they do reductions in force, corporates usually give severance, COBRA benefits, last but not least, this outplacement service. It's like a coaching kind of like career service. And that is the core of what we do, this outplacement service. And so the clients for those outplacement services, because they're super expensive, are generally for executives or for middle managers and above at bigger white collar firms across the country. But the irony is that if all four of us didn't have a job tomorrow, we're not finding our next job by redoing our resume. We're going to call our network. And so the folks who don't have access to great coaching, great outplacement services, ironically enough, are the ones who need it the most. So who should this be for? It's for anyone, like if you're leaving Starbucks as a barista all the way to call it middle managers and above. Middle managers and above, that's we can service them, but like I said, they're probably better off mining their network, and we can help them do that. But it's for that large swath of the American population that doesn't have anyone to actually coach them through a transition that we're servicing. And you might think, well, why, like, what are you doing? Like, who hasn't anyone else thought of this? Well, but for AI and but for some of the tools, it was impossible to make this service affordable so that a company can say, okay, that person is an entry-level person, that person is an hourly employee. On the way out, let's give him or her something to boost their career. It would otherwise be unaffordable. And so that's our core audience, right?
Good.
Yeah, so many different ways. So many different ways to help. And Pelgo uses AI not to kill jobs, but to help workers laid off, because AI actually can find new opportunities, options, touches a favor, and upskill themselves. Remember, knowledge is just a commodity today. It used to be power, no pun intended, Rhett, but it's simply wisdom is of value today because everyone has knowledge at the tip of their fingertips. Our new partner, Che Huang, is in the house. We will hopefully see him in New York. I'll be there soon, keynoting at Fanatics Fest and an EO event coming up in a week. We'd love to invite you out to our VIP dinner for our charity, as well as meeting you in person. I also have a few introductions for you for what you're doing. It's a perfect match for some of my clients as well. Co-founder and CEO at Pelgo. If you're looking for your next role or to upskill your life, go to pelgo.com. Che, what a pleasure it was to have you on the show, episode 904 or more. Great. It's like an MBA in a day here at Office Hours with great professors like Che Huang. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, gents. Happy 4th.
Thanks, Che. Happy
Great
4th.
job. Happy 4th. Hopefully I'll see you in a week. That'd be great. All right. Rhett Power, you smug little motherfucker. Why don't you go ahead and give us your takeaway? Why don't you give us your takeaway of the day?
It is Thursday. We can talk this way.
That's right. Thursday morning.
Somebody has to bring us down in class. You know, you guys are too elevated, and world famous Marshall Goldsmith, whatever that means, and keynote speakers that you are. So go ahead, Rhett. Give it to me before the holiday. I got to plug my computer in, so I'm gonna leave for a sec.
I love you. I mean it. I'm out of here. Bye.
See you later.
Can't see my beautiful face. All right, I'm plugged in again.
That's good stuff, man. No, it's a good group. I love what Sean's doing, what he's built, and just I love that message of. And I think it probably resonates along everybody that we had this morning, but this just showing up, being consistent, year in, year out, putting one foot in front of the other, showing up at 5 a.m. to do a show, right? I there is magic in that, and that builds trust, and it's the way to be successful. I mean, to me, that's the key. I mean, and I think that I love his message of how he's going to show up every day, and that's the way it is, and you're not going to outwork him, and you're not going to out consistent him, right?
Yeah, that's good.
I love it.
Yeah.
Double B.
What do you got? Sean's comment about you build it and they will come being bullshit. Spot on. Yeah, it's the story. The story. Yeah, human beings organize around stories. We connect with story. We move things with story. We invite people with story. We negotiate with story. We get shit done with story. That whole idea of being able to craft a narrative, a story, to make things happen in my life. And I can be a couch potato and I've got a story about why things aren't happening. Well, that story is going to be my reality. Yeah. Or I can create a different story and start doing the things that make that story real. Find the characters, find the narrative, get the script put together, get the score, all that stuff, put it to music, go out and dance.
No doubt. Well, whether it's magnetic influence or the stage theory utilized by Be The Show Media, or even with our friend Che at Pelgo, I love the idea of the takeaway of state of mind versus state of velocity. I think that understanding wisdom, and that our biggest challenge isn't losing jobs, it's the state of velocity in which we live in today. That may overwhelm people, stagnate, procrastinate them from making decisions, since every decision they make has earlier and earlier changes to that decision. And it's, sometimes you come up with an idea in a meeting, and by the time the meeting's up, technology's changed the decision you just made at the meeting 15 minutes ago, because there was some news article on the new IVO system for lawyers, or some other thing that you find out about in the 7.6 billion people utilizing technology to increase the state of velocity. We're increasing the state of velocity on Office Hours episode 904 or more. This is the pre-4th of July celebration, 250 years of true freedom, the greatest country ever created, and hopefully we'll keep it that way. The United States of America, the only country where today you could be living on the streets with nothing, but you still have the ability to be the best at whatever you desire to be. It's up to you, but you have that opportunity in America, and no other country in the world do you have that opportunity. You can be bankrupt, you can be homeless, it doesn't matter. This is the only country that affords you the possibility to be the best at whatever you desire to be. God bless America. God bless my two friends, Blaine Bartlett, BlaineBartlett.com. He makes those possibilities into reality. And of course, Rhett Power, the head of mental head of mental, powerful leader, thought leader, author, and entrepreneur. Have a wonderful holiday. Enjoy your freedom and your family, my friends. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave.
Awesome. All righty, you're welcome. It's episode 904 or more. Just as a real recap, I will be in San Diego today, 1 p.m. at Paradise Point, doing a meetup. Vegas for Summer League, New York, Philly for All-Star Game, New York for Fanatics Fest and EO event, SoFi Stadium in LA, Miami FC with Messi, London for a private member investor group mastermind, and the Ryder Cup of Wine in Breckenridge at the finale. All include meetups, holding courts, interviews, masterminds, and most importantly, our VIP dinners for charity. We are blessed to have 200 cities we're in. If you want to be informed and invited, it's not hard. It's how I stay informed and invited. That's an area code 949-298-2905. Text me at that number to be informed and invited of the 200 different cities we're in each and every year. And then finally, let me be a beloved servant. David means beloved. At D is my first initial. Meltzer means servant. Let me be your beloved servant at dmeltzer.com. Remember, most importantly, especially on the holiday weekend and the anniversary of our country, 250 years. Be more interested than interesting. That's the premise of this show. But more importantly, be kind. Be kind to your future self. That's the premise of our mission. God bless everyone. Hit it, Gigi.
Hey! 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 Oh, hey! Wanna know where David's gonna be? Get invites, updates, and community. When he's in your city, you won't miss a thing. Just text the number, let your phone ring, 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 ring. 949298290. That's 949298290. Events, connection, and opportunity. All in one place. Come join the community. So text it now, don't wait in line. 949298290. That's 949298290.
Now I'm at the point you wanna be with me. I'm vibing out at a higher frequency, cause everything that I want and I'm gonna be, it's when I wake up, that's when I start to dream. Someone you love is talking down, here is the plan. Let it fall through like a handful of sand. Nothing happens overnight, what you must understand. If you dwell on the bad, then you don't stand a chance. Something you want upset, saying why it ain't mine yet. That's because now you have yet to change your mindset. People don't put their mind to rest while they're so wired. A lot of people go to sleep and wake up tired. Power of positivity and persistence. Say that I can, we'll just sit back and witness. Make an impact when our time is done. Make money, help people, and have lots of fun.